Alive and Well STL is a presentation of the St. Louis Regional Health Commission and RareGem Productions to build a healthier St. Louis. Power up with the positive. Learn more at OneRareGem.com. That's OneRaregem.com.
Support for Alive and Well STL comes from Beyond Housing, helps entire communities become better places to live. Learn more at beyondhousing.org.
The Regional Health Commission works in partnership with regional health sector advocates and stakeholders to improve healthcare access, reduce health disparities, and improve health outcomes for the uninsured and the underinsured in St. Louis City and County.
Alive and Well STL with Bethany Johnson-Javois, CEO of the St. Louis Integrated Health Network.
This whole initiative of Alive and Well STL is really about resilience and recovery, about ensuring that our entire community are activated to play a role in helping people overcome the trauma or toxic stress that they have experienced.
Some who not even know what trauma have been for them. Not understanding that was a traumatizing event or a situation that they was in because they so like it's a norm to them. So it's really working and dealing with them and bringing them aware of what has happened to them and letting them know that that's not the norm.
One of the things that's a commonality in people who have experienced trauma is the tendency to blame oneself. So to feel like something is happening to you because you're not a good person or something that you did or you deserve to be treated poorly. And the first thing that we do in the TREM model is we start to let people understand that it's not normal to experience the things that they've experienced, and it's not their fault.
Through recovery, we hope more people can reach the state of being alive and well.
Alive and Well STL.
As your introduction, could you create a vision for us for what it means to you to be alive and well in STL?
Well, I think one of the things that I think about when I think of the word alive is having both freedom and opportunity. So it's not just physically breathing or being conscious and awake. It's actually being able to pursue something, having the freedom to go out and create a life for yourself and for your family and for your community. And well is the piece that talks about the ability to do that. So being physically well, being emotionally well, spiritually well, all of those things that it takes to be healthy enough to be aware of opportunities and to be able to go after them. So when I look at a vision for a community, I'm looking at the opportunity for everyone within community to pursue their dreams, to pursue their hopes, to be free from fear and anxiety, to really live and expect to pursue happiness. It sounds like one of those phrases that we hear all the time, pursuing life, liberty, and happiness and all of those things. But it's really about being in a place where freedom is not imagined, it's realized.
Hello, and thank you again for joining us today. I'm Bethany Johnson-Javois, CEO of the St. Louis Integrated Health Network and host of Alive and Well STL, sponsored by the St. Louis Regional Health Commission. Today we are joined in studio by Serena Muhammad, Director of Strategic Initiatives at the St. Louis Mental Health Board, and Toni Jordan, Peer Specialist at Queen of Peace, joins us as well by phone. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
As we talk and think about what it means for our community, particularly in context of all that has happened here, to be alive and well, I'm excited to be speaking with both of you. And I'm not sure, listeners, if you know this, but Serena in particular has been a very big reason for why we are actually here today talking about this subject of trauma-informed care. She is the one who explained to us the impact trauma is having on the health of our community, and she inspired the St. Louis Regional Health Commission to pursue this work as a member of the Community Advisory Board structure. So, Serena, my hat's off, as always, to you and for the work that you continue to do in our region.
Thanks.
One of the efforts that the St. Louis Mental Health Board and its partners, including Queen of Peace, have engaged in is funding services that help people recover from the trauma they have experienced in their lives. This whole initiative of Alive and Well STL is really about resilience and recovery, about ensuring that our entire community are activated to play a role in helping people overcome the trauma or toxic stress that they have experienced. Through recovery, we hope more people can reach the state of being alive and well. So, Toni, your job at Queen of Peace, if I understand it correctly, you touch specific lives that have been impacted by the root causes that Serena has just mentioned. Can you share with our listeners your experience working with individuals that are in recovery from trauma? What does it look like? Everyone has an individualized experience, but what are the commonalities among these experiences that people need to know?
Well, it has really been very rewarding for me to be able to touch the lives of those that has been traumatized, even some of our clients as being Ferguson residents. So as being here for them and allowing them to have a voice and to speak out about what is going on. So I'm glad that Queen of Peace has opened their doors up and not trying to sweep this under the rug, but allowing them clients to be able to speak their voice. Let's talk about it and let's help them that they're not stuffing or piling all this up to where they just explode one day. And as far as dealing with the women who have been, and most women has been traumatized, some who not even know what trauma have been for them, not understanding that was a traumatizing event or a situation that they was in because they so like it's a norm to them. So it's really working and dealing with them and bringing them aware of what has happened to them and letting them know that that's not the norm. A lot of women being in abusive relationships over and over, being abused by their partners physically, mentally, verbally. So speaking with these women and being able to let them know and figure out where your boundaries lie. So it's just so awesome for me to be able to help these women to find themselves inside of that person that they have conformed to, and finding the real them so that they can come out and be who they truly are, as having boundaries, having a life, living alive and well today, and not just, okay, I feel good, but as far as being satisfied with their life is just an amazing thing for me. Doing this every day is so rewarding.
Thanks, Toni, for sharing your perspective. Serena, we recently learned about the program called TREM, which stands for Trauma Recovery Empowerment Model. This is a national model which the Mental Health Board and other organizations brought to our community. There are two words in that title that really catch my attention: recovery and empowerment. Can both of you tell me what those words mean to you and the people who participate in the program?
Sure. I'll start by looking at the word empowerment. One of the things that's a commonality in people who have experienced trauma is the tendency to blame oneself. So to feel like something is happening to you because you're not a good person or something that you did or you deserve to be treated poorly. And the first thing that we do in the TREM model is we start to let people understand that it's not normal to experience the things that they've experienced, and it's not their fault. That things happen to people for no reason of their own, and that they shouldn't internalize it as something that they deserve. Once a person realizes that they deserve to be treated well, their attitude changes, the way that they interact with other people changes. So it's really a shift in how they perceive themselves and then how they move around in the world. I will say that there's also an MTREM program, which stands for male, and then the exact same title that you just read. And what we do when we talk with the men is we look at stereotypes that sometimes govern how men believe they're supposed to behave and how that damages their self-perception and their interaction with other men. And what we've been told by people who participate in the MTREM program is that for the first time they have healthy, positive relationships with other men. They're not aggressive, they're not competitive, that they actually can figure out a way to interact that is not hostile or overtly aggressive. And I know that that sounds like a small piece, but what it really means is that people start to humanize themselves and their relationships, and it just really changes the types of things that they experience in life. So when we're talking about empowerment, it's really about understanding who you are as a person, how you fit into family and community, and not being okay with abuse, understanding that it's not the norm and that a person deserves better than that. And we do that with both men and women. The recovery piece is about moving ahead. So you do have to go through the experience and almost relive it and understand how it impacted you. But at some point you have to decide that that was a moment in time and it's not going to define you for the rest of your life. And you're going to move ahead as a stronger person. And that's what the recovery is really about.
Toni, you want to add to that?
Yes. And my form of looking at recovery is knowing that I am alive and well. And by me saying that, I mean that just living every day till its fullest. I don't never know when my last day going to be, but I am here to do a work, and that work is going to be done. I'm here to help others, knowing that my past and what I've been through is here to give others hope and inspiration that they can move on. I never thought that I had a power within me that I could, be able to say the things that I want to say and not just speaking them in my mind, but to say things because this is my belief, to be able to do things because this is something I wanted to do. So today I know that being empowered comes from within me, comes from within the next person I work at, and they got to touch into that inside of them and find that power because each one of us has it. And that is my job, is to let them know and to get in touch with that inner part of them so they can grow off of it. And all that comes with recovery, because I'm helping them to find that person that has been shielded and this other person that is on the outside, but bringing that other person that's on the inside, the true them, out. So that is really, like Serena saying, is helping them to move forward, helping them to find what direction you want your life to go in. What is it that you want to do? And empowering them to let them know that you can do this. Ain't no more I can't.
So what are some of the components of the TREM and MTREM projects, the empowerment model that listeners need to know about? So specifically, there's a Photovoice component, the role of art in this process of recovery. How do those tools bring out and highlight for people the inside that begins to come out, as you talked about, Toni? It
has been amazing. There's a couple of ladies that I know have taken it, and looking at the pictures they chose, one lady had a possum on top of the fence. And you know how sneaky and everything a little possum look. Mm-hmm. And she said that reminded her of what she was doing out in her addiction, and that's someplace she didn't want to go again. So that Photovoice took a picture of her as that possum sneaking around, doing just little things and lying, playing possum for somebody else, like, oh, I'm dead, but I'm not. That's what she saw in that picture, and that's what she took, and that's what her Photovoice picture was about. The other lady had a picture of her family and of her grandchildren and children, and how they empowered her and inspired her and motivated her to keep going forth in her recovery. She did not want to lose them again or lose the relationship that she had with them. So through being able to take that photo and have that photo is just has been such an inspiration for her, and hangs up in her apartment that she has today. So it is the most, I'm like, wow. I mean, to see those things and to see those pictures and their statements was just awesome. I mean, that was a great class. I was talking to Jackie Lakeisha of NAMI to see if she could bring that back so other people could experience that. That would be awesome if we can get others to be able to go through that. I could just imagine being in that room and taking those photos and then being able to write a statement as what that meant to each one of those ladies and men. So it was awesome.
This is a great example for our church communities that are listening to of work that could be done within local churches and other environments and contexts. So thank you, Toni, for sharing that. Now, as our listeners hear some of these recovery stories, I'm sure they're thinking about themselves or someone that they know who could envision this possum visual that I know I'm looking at and nodding my head to, going, yeah, I can connect to that. To Serena and both Toni, what would you say to people who are not activated, who are acting like the possum? They're alive, but they look asleep. They might even look dead, quite frankly. But there's so much more to them than what life has told them up to this moment. What do we say to them today?
I would say, get up and be somebody. That is just what we have to do. We have to, like, some people never been talked to. It's people like that out there. And I would want to be able to talk to them. So if they're listening, or if you know somebody that you haven't really engaged with, or saw somebody in your church, your community, your neighbor, reach out to those people. and start a conversation and get to know like what it is in them that you can help bring out. You know, why I don't know my neighbor. You know, you should know, people should know their neighbors. People should reach out to other people. You may not see nobody going to their home or seeing people talk to them when they're at church. Reach out to those people, maybe some going on with them that they want to talk but don't have nobody to talk to. So I would just say this, to reach out to others in spite of whatever you feeling or whatever the devil may be telling you not to do, to just take that risk and reach out to other people and see, are they hurting? You know, how can I help? How can I be of assistance? Maybe we can give a resource or help them find their way in life. So just reach out.
Serena?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's all about relationships. When you think about being well, it's about having people that you can talk to, that you trust, that you can confide in, that when you're having difficult times, that you know that they'll be there for you to help you through those difficult times. And I think that sometimes our networks seem to get smaller and smaller as we grow older. And one of the things that we have to do is to make sure that we're always open to experiencing new opportunities to meet people and to connect with people, whether it's just chance encounters or very purposeful, intentional volunteer opportunities to go out and connect with other folks in the community. But it really does come down to relationships. We can't be well as a community if we don't know one another, and we can't support one another if we haven't had that initial conversation. So it really begins just there with healing through having positive and loving relationships.
Yes.
So Serena and Toni, thank you both for sharing your perspective, for investing in us beginning to look at the root causes of our situations from the individual level as well as in the community. And as we wrap up here, do you have anything else you want to say to our listeners?
Just kind of to continue the last comment about what it takes to build community, I think that sometimes we feel like things are more complicated than they actually are. You know, it's great that we have these evidence-based programs and we have these models of treatment, but a lot of this can actually be addressed just at the basic human interaction level. So before a person gets to the point where they need to go into a Queen of Peace Center or into a Places for People, there's probably an opportunity for an individual person to reach out to another individual person and have some bond of humanity that lifts a person up. So it's not always about a complex program or strategy. Sometimes it's just about being there as a compassionate human being for another person.
Keep it simple.
Right.
Get up, wake up, activate. Toni, anything else you have to add?
I just want to say, as anybody that is out there and they know and believe in their hearts that they are alive and well, will reach out to your neighbor, to your significant other, your family member, anyone that you see in the grocery store, walking down the street that may need a lifting. Lift that person up, whether speak to them, give them a smile, but let them know that in your heart somewhere you have a care, you are concerned about them, that we can start a healing process of everybody, even with our teenage community, with your own children, you know. So just reach out and be there for others and not just yourself.
Thank you both so much for joining us and for this context that you've set here on the Alive and Well STL program. We look so forward, everyone, for you to come back again next week. For more information about today's program and to become involved in Alive and Well STL, please download the smartphone application Bonfire, BONFYRE, and search for Alive and Well or visit us online at aliveandwellstl.com. We'll be back again next week.
You are invited to join the conversation. If you, your family, or your organization is interested in talking about how we better the well-being of the region, sign up for more information, join the conversation, log on to aliveandwellstl.com, and let's build a plan on how we can work together and improve our overall health and become alive and well. The Regional Health Commission with Chief Executive Officer Robert Friend Jr. committed to providing a detailed review of change over the past decade and 14 leading health indicators for the city and county of St. Louis. The first decade review of Health Status Report, an update to building a healthier St. Louis. Discover the narrative, the data, and celebrate the progress already made to improve healthcare access and reduce health disparities in our region. Learn more at stlrhc.org. Alive and Well STL is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.